What a noise, the Twickenham Roar. We are minutes away as Matt Dawson and Tommy Bowe take their seats. Paul Grayson down on the touchline. The final message is, Grace, when you got 90 seconds to go before a massive Six Nations game.
Yeah, all of what's just gone sets the bar emotionally, and then it's switch on, do your job. This Irish team, we know, are drilled to almost perfection. England still unsure, but whatever your job is today, top priority, you got to nail it first up.
Well, the England forward pack maybe hasn't been as imposing as of old, but on paper still looks pretty strong. Ellis Gens, Jamie George, Dan Cole, the front row, Maro Itoje and George Martin back to start, his first start since the World Cup. He's in the second row. Ollie Chesham goes to 6, Sam Underhill at 7, Ben Earl at 8. The Ireland pack, Andrew Porter, Dan Sheehan, Tadhg Furlong, a formidable front row. Joe McCarthy looks to the man of form, the 22-year-old. He's at lock with Tadhg Beirne, who continues to excel. Peter O'Mahony, the skipper, 104th cap for him. Josh van der Fleer and Caelan Doris make up the Irish back row. Alex Mitchell, George Ford, the England halfbacks. Ollie Lawrence, Henry Slade, the England centres. Tommy Freeman, Emmanuel Feyi-Bosa, first start for the Exeter man. Though Freeman and Feyi-Bosa on the wings, with George Furbank full back, and the Ireland back line. Jamison Gibson Park, Jack Crowley 9 and 10, Bundy Aki and Robbie Henshaw in the midfield, James Lowe, Calvin Nash and Hugo Keenan, the back three. The referee is Nika Amasha-Kelly, the Georgian. The ARs are Andrea Piardi, the Italian, and Craig Evans of Wales, and Ben Whitehouse is in the TMO truck. 82,500 packed into Twickenham. There is not a spare seat in the house. 5 Live Sports Extra will be with our listeners on Radio 5 Live in around 15 minutes time, when all the full times come in across the 3 o'clocks. But stay with us on Sports Extra, you will not miss a thing. We'll be at the 5:30 football. But between Sports Extra and 5 Live, every pass, every kick of this compelling Six Nations encounter. England against Ireland, as Jack Crowley kicks us off from right to left, and immediately fielded by Alex Mitchell, and a good solid clearance kick from Mitchell back in the side off the missing Murrayfield. Matt Dawson, line out Ireland bang on halfway.
I always feel that's a little bit of a missed opportunity from the kick-off there. There's such build-up. Even good build-up in the commentary there, Chris. You got us right on the edge, and then a long kick straight into touch, and just a...
Well, that's often the way we talk all week. Hype it up, and then it just slightly flat start. But line out, dangerous position for the Irish. And they win it through McCarthy. Peeling away is Van der Fleer. Former World Player of the Year, Caelan Doris, thunders into the English tacklers. Just inside the English half, but the ball is slow. England will have to spoil to stop this Irish machine. Van der Fleer goes through the ruck and offloads brilliantly to Furlong. Big carry by Tadhg Furlong. To the right they come. Here's Dan Sheehan, scored a couple in the Grand Slam game. He's a try-scoring machine, this Irish hooker. Nice ball, Porter, Van der Fleer. This is that Irish pattern. But England through Martin looking to spoil. Good tackle, Henry Slade coming up on that blitz defence. Ireland in centre field in their green with white shorts. Caelan Doris, that looks like a tactic, Tommy Bowe, as Ireland get penalty advantage. Gibson Park runs into a couple of English players and the ref gets in the way. But Ireland get the penalty for offside and a chance for first points.
Exactly the sort of start Ireland wanted. Andy Farrell would have been so fearful that England would have come out of the blocks fire and get an early start, put this Irish team under pressure. But very interesting. So much talk going into this week about Felix Jones, the English defensive coach, and this line speed he's trying to bring into the English team. You could see it there with Henry Slade coming up and making a great tackle, but twice Ireland tried to go through the middle of the ruck. Let's not go wide, let's not give an opportunity to this English defence to get up into their faces.
Tommy, it's just clever. It's clever. It's not only what they haven't been Ireland have not been practicing that all week, going through the middle, but they've just the coach is saying, guys, there is a good chance this is going to be on, so let's have it in our locker. Let's start, let's challenge it.
Really
interesting. Beginning the game, let's go through. If England squeeze up, we'll go a little bit wider. So they're already playing games with England.
But the fact that they went right through the middle of the ruck too, made 2-3 yards both times, and then Jamison Gibson Park makes a break around the edge and leaves it back inside to Calvin Nash, and that's where the penalty has come from.
Really clever stuff from the Irish, and they have the chance for first points. Jack Crowley, I mean, if you're kicking for the first time at Twickenham in a big Six Nations game, you want this kind of kick, and he splits the posts in half. Ireland on the board, England 0, Ireland 3. Your view of that, Paul Grayson, on the touchline?
Yeah, interesting. Just noting that England, all eyes looking up for the blitz, but nobody paying attention to the breakdown. Genge and Chesson were looking away from the ruck when Van der Fleer went through the middle.
England to kick off then. George Ford, winning cap number 95. He'll be in that 100 club before too long, you would feel, even though the likes of Marcus Smith and namesake Finn are gunning for that 10 shirt. Ollie Chesson putting pressure on the Irish receiver, but it's still in Irish possession, and Tyke Byrne in his blue scrum cap. England 0, Ireland 3. Radio 5 Sports Extra from the BBC with our listeners on 5 Live in the next 5-10 minutes or so. Ben Earl tried to charge down low, who got the kick away. Furbank then in the backfield. England are going to give this a thrash. Yes, they are. Furbank out to Freeman, who is chopped down. Ireland looking to spoil. England have it 40 metres out. To the left they go. George Ford, nice hands. England, they might be into the corner. Feyi-Waboso's into the corner. Unbelievable stuff. England have scored. They ran back a kick through Furbank and beautifully connected down the left-hand side. And on his first start, Feyi-Waboso involved. And England have scored. Ollie Lawrence in at the corner. Brilliant stuff from England after an early Ireland penalty. And England have scored the try that Twickenham so badly craved.
Yeah, just crying out for the bounce of a ball, or in this case, a knockout tackle. And Nash came in, smashed Slade man a ball, but crashed himself out. Put a little stinger to the shoulder. He was down, he was then out of position. Ireland don't have enough down the short side, and England, lovely quick hands. And it ended up being Crowley on the right wing, and no one quicker. Ollie Lawrence, do your forward roll, away you go.
Do you know what? I think that came from actually Ben Earl trying to charge down James Lowe's kick. James Lowe, his left boot is used so much for this Irish team to clear their lines, to get them out of their 22. And Ben Earl put him under so much pressure. The kick ended up staying in play, and wonderful. You can see maybe that what this English team have been working on. So many players work back to get behind the line and had more numbers than Ireland. So really impressive attack by Ireland. I spoke earlier on about Andy Farrell will not want to see this English team get in front early, but that is exactly what they've done.
Well, Paul Grayson on the touchline, it is all happening. Ollie Lawrence with the try. Great counter-attack England, but it looks like 2 players are coming off, including Calvin Nash. This 6-2 bench might be being exposed a bit already as Frawley comes on.
Yeah, absolutely. It was that collision. Nash stepped in and hit Freeman hard, but has injured himself in the process. Winded Freeman too. 2 great early touches from George Furbank there, though, the counter-attack and the slick hands to put Slade away. Good start for him.
England are up and running. George Ford's kick sliding across, but England are away now through Ben Earl, who juggles with the ball. Did he lose it? Yes, he did. Right, England 5, Ireland 3. 6 minutes gone at Twickenham. Ollie Lawrence replying to Jack Crowley's penalty, and Ireland might be able to get outside the blitz here. Feyi-Waboso was rushing in but didn't get involved, but you can see there the role all the backs have, and now Ireland have got round the blitz. Dan Sheehan's got James Lowe outside. Lowe against Ford, inside from Lowe. Good hands Crowley to Tyke Byrne, and Ireland managing to get round the English defence. What a start it's been at Twickenham as Gibson Park digs for it. Now McCarthy, Frawley. So they'll have to just reshuffle. We'll get Tommy Bowe to talk through how it's looking, whether it's a straight swap wing for wing with Frawley for Nash. He'll go off for an HIA as Keenan is caught again by Feyi-Waboso, and you're seeing it there, the role that everyone's got in this blitz defence, Matt Dawson.
Yeah, it's high risk, and when it works, I mean, it's so effective. But there was just that occasion where you saw Ireland go around the corner and have half a sniff of an overlap. And this is, in the first 7 minutes of the blitz. We've seen how Ireland are so effective going through the guts as well. Ireland, Tommy, so good on the bounce back there. I mean, it's been a brilliant attack. One attack from England, one score. But then Ireland, they just don't seem to care. They just water on a duck's back and bounce back so well.
Listen, I'm really impressed with the defence, the attitude to the blitz defence by England, because if you're bringing in this blitz defence, you have to be 100% committed. And Wasabo on the one wing, the centres, Henry Slade, is leading it up the middle as well. You could see though James Lowe, when they were able to get to the outside, there's an awful lot of space there, but to get to that outside space, it's not going to be easy with this English blitz.
First scrum as referee Amisha Kelly asked for a reset. So Tommy Bowe Frawley's gone to fullback, Keenan then to the wing. So already Keenan's so good at fullback, you're just losing a little bit of his influence with a winger going off.
Well, this is the thing with the 6-2 split, of course, only having two backs. You have to have a scrum half there who's Conor Murray, and then Kieran Frawley, who generally is a 10, a 12 or a 15. So for him to come out to play out of place on the wing would be very unusual to him. He's quite a young guy. He doesn't have a whole pile of caps under his belt. For Hugo Keenan, who normally plays 15, he's such a stalwart of this team. I think it shouldn't be a big problem to him. And this is something that Andy Farrell and the coaching team will have been aware of. They would have played up all these circumstances.
Penalty England at the scrum, and listen to Twickenham. This is exactly what England need to do. Put some pressure on at the scrum and other areas. And Matt Dawson, after a strong Irish start, what a 9 minutes it's been, that Lawrence try. But the Lawrence try all came from the intent of Furbank to run it back, didn't it?
Yeah. Poor kick because of pressure on the on James Lowe, and George Furbank, no hesitation, was absolutely full tilt. Go on then. And it even looked like a sort of a 4-on-3 to start. And when Freeman got smashed, there was another overlap. So Ireland have got to be where England mean business for sure.
Wait. Well, there's a spring in this England team step at the minute. There's a lot of excitement out there, a lot of talking between them, which is good to see from an English point of view.
And as we spoke on 5 Live in the week, if you get the Twickenham crowd going, this can be a tough place to play. It can go quiet, but it can be in brilliant voice, especially if they get a nice line out going like this. Ellis Genge, good carry, Genge, that's decent. Bust from the prop, bang in centre field. England 10 metres out, they lead 5-3. Can they score again? They've got one try. Lawrence the decoy, Furbank, he had Earl outside but just kept hold of it. Van der Fleer's into Steele, I think he's got it. Oh, he's quick on that, isn't he, Josh Van der Fleer? And England's attack breaks down, penalty Ireland.
Wow, Ireland really needed that. Josh Van der Fleer, wonderful poach, 5 metres out from their line, really interesting. A set piece play that England have obviously been working on. Great carry up by Ellis Genge. You could see all the pack, the English pack on the near side here were calling for it, arms up in the air to try and distract the Irish defence. And Furbank coming round, I'm not too sure who it was ran short on him, but I think there might have been space on the touchline.
I mean, Van der Fleer, players like that, they're game changers. Real influencers and game changers, because not everybody steals that ball. He knows that he might get his hands on that ball for maybe a second, but he makes it look such a precious second that the referee will penalise England for holding onto the ball on the ground. Very, very clever Jacqueline play from a former World Player of the Year.
It is an Irish line-out on halfway. Sheehan, it's lost by O'Mahony as England gets stuck into the Irish line-out. Mitchell wings it to Ford. Ford across the face to Slade. He's got Furbank and Faywa-Boso. Out to Faywa-Boso, who steps and almost gets away. Good to see England with the ball in Faywa-Boso's hands. Ford wings it across to Genge. Slap bang in centre field, lightning fast ball for England. Ford, Henry Slade out to Chesham, nice hands Chesham, over to the far side, and Freeman who darts over the 22. 5-3 to England, who have got their tails up at Twickenham. Ford across to Genge, who's carrying plenty in this opening quarter. Mitchell to Ben-Earl. Ben-Earl sticks his head down, held up by Underhill with a good clear. Mitchell fizzes to the left, Freeman's off his wing. What do England have now after a few phases? 6 in all. Have they got that incision? Furbank goes for a kick as a ricochet. Gibson Park loses it. Ireland are all at sea in the backfield. Can England bundle them out of touch? Yes, they can. England line out 10 metres out, Matt Dawson.
Yeah, pace of the rucks. What a difference from England. Speed, phase after phase. It's sub 2 seconds. It's like watching Ireland playing white shirts when England have the ball at the moment. And I don't care how good you are, whether you're the best team, second best team in the world, if you're going to create fast ball with direct, strong runners like England have, you are going to create overlaps. You're going to create absolute chaos in the opposition territory, and that's what's happening.
England play with incredible tempo. I questioned before the match, could they do this with the likes of Mitchell, George Ford? Would Marcus Smith not be more important and more influential in this? But certainly those two guys are stepping right up to the plate. Unfortunately they've lost, and they've still got the line out. try to regroup.
England are on it. Can they keep it up? 12 minutes gone. England 5, Ireland 3. Lawrence's try as Chesham powers on. They're only 7-8 metres out here, England, maybe a few more. Jamie George and Furbank outside, but he carries the England skipper. Mitchell, he now fizzes to the left, throws a dummy, and he tried to get it away to Genge. The ball was knocked on, and Ireland will clear through Keenan. That's going to be knock-on advantage over. So England do cough up the opportunity. Keenan's kick is good enough to take it out to the 10.
Well, this is where you're seeing a stark contrast in scrum half play from England, and the benefit of having Alex Mitchell come back into this side, because he does this for Northampton week in, week out, where he's just passing it. He's creating pace, he's getting to the right, it's bang, 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 ball's going away, and then all of a sudden he just has a little dart himself and brings that defence in and creates that little bit of havoc.
Need to be more clinical though, Matt. That's 2 opportunities in the Irish 22. Unfortunately, they've turned it over.
Yeah, and both teams losing line-up ball. Paul Grayson coming on the touchline.
Yeah, absolutely jumping down here. Both benches animated. England know that they've set the tempo for this game. How long can they keep it up?
We'll be with our listeners on 5 Live shortly as Ireland kick. Freeman's in the backfield. He clears it downfield, where Ireland wait for the ball through Crowley. Crowley sends up a high Gary Owen. Alex Mitchell's under it. England lead by 5-3. Here's George Ford. Does he see some space? Yes, he does. Thank you very much, Ian. Welcome to Twickenham. England 5, Ireland 3. 13 captivating minutes gone at the home of English rugby. Ireland scoring a penalty through Crowley. They started well, the Irish, but England hit back with a brilliant try. A counter-attack, Furbank, Lawrence in at the corner, and England have a couple of points advantage 14 minutes into the game. England 5, Ireland 3, as Ireland just slow it down a little bit, Matt Dawson, and we all just pause for breath for our listeners on 5 Live.
Yeah, interesting to see that, Chris. That it's Ireland who first go to the box and slow the game down rather than England.
George Ford finds Feyi-Waboso, who has got out of one tackle. He is strong, isn't he, Emmanuel Feyi-Waboso, and has got his hands on the ball plenty in the opening exchanges. Good footwork, Ben Early's got it away to Jamie George. George with a line break, he's going to be isolated. Can he stay big? Chesham with a good clear, that's decent from England. Ford, Furbank juggled with it, but took it and did well, George Furbank. England are playing with excellent tempo. Ollie Chesham wearing 6, he's having a good game. England's forwards are stepping up. Sheehan tries to steal, but it's there for England. George Ford out to, that's Ellis Genge carrying just short of the 22. Advantage as Ireland don't roll. You can hear the roar from Twickenham as Nick Amishakeli's arm goes out. George Ford goes for a Hail Mary drop goal. He will now have a much easier chance from the tee to take England out to a 5-point lead. Tommy Bowe.
Yeah. England's tempo, England's physicality between the packs are very, very impressive so far.
Let's go for a late goal at Molineux. Wolves, Fulham, Pat Murphy.
It's also full time. Iwobi got one back for Fulham right at the death. Aït-Nouri and Semedo got the goals early on in the second half. Tremendous win for Wolves. Wolves 2, Fulham 1.
Thanks very much, Pat. And full time at Bournemouth as well with John Akers.
Bournemouth 2, Sheffield United 2. Bournemouth come from 2-0 down. Robinson and Harmer for Sheffield United. Bournemouth with the equaliser from Unal with his first goal for the club. Ouattara got one back with 15 to go. Bournemouth 2, Sheffield United 2.
Thank you very much to John Akers as the full times all come in. Bournemouth 2, Sheffield United 2 as we're hearing from John. Wolves 2, Fulham 1 as we're hearing from Pat Murphy. And as we were hearing from Ian Dennis and Chris Sutton, late equaliser for Luton. Crystal Palace 1, Luton Town 1. So Bournemouth, Sheffield United 2 all, Palace, Luton 1 all, Wolves 2, Fulham 1, and those 2 Manchester United penalties ensuring they beat Everton 2-0 in the earlier game. Our 5:30 commentary, Arsenal-Brentford over on 5 Sports Extra. Second half here on 5 Live from Twickenham we are as George Ford sends it over and England lead by 8-3. Paul Grayson on the touchline.
We questioned England's back row, particularly after Courtney Lawes retired, and who would fill that role of lock come 6. Well, Ollie Chesham's doing a superb impression of Courtney Lawes today, carrying the ball, handling in the wide channels, clearing rucks, looks suited to that position.
And we've got full time in the Championship for you, Maz, at Hull.
Yeah, twice Hull led through Carvalho and Zaroury. Twice they were paid back by goals from Vardy. Leicester not at their best, but that points gap at the top of the Championship back up to 3, and Hull have dropped out the playoffs. Full time Hull 2, Leicester 2.
Thanks very much, Maz Faruqi. as England through Ben Earl, and there is such a tempo and intensity about England. We haven't seen that all too much in recent months and years. But with 17 minutes gone at Twickenham, England lead Ireland by 8 points to 3 as Alex Mitchell looks for touch. And who would have thought it, Tommy Bowe, that it's Ireland who probably just want to slow things down and go back to their shape, and it's England who want to keep playing.
Amazing defence again, this blitz defence that England are trying to employ. Henry Slade right up into the line and stopping Kieran Frawley back on the halfway line, but they've now conceded a penalty. Ireland with the advantage.
Yes, no roll, I think, from England. Yeah, you've got to roll away, says referee Amish Kelly.
This is a crucial part for England. We know historically England are good out the blocks. We know they're fit, we know they're strong, we know they're capable of scoring those tries, but 20 minutes seems to be quite key for them. And with England having that lead, a little bit like they did against Scotland, again having possession, slowed it down, box kick away off the first ruck. The way that the reason why England are 8-3 up is because they've been going through the phases and getting the ball into space, quick rucks, speed in the game. When the game went through for that stop for that penalty, Ireland were on their haunches. It was hands on knees, it was tired, and it was like, oh my goodness, where has that just come from, that last 2 minutes of play? England have got to keep the tempo up.
Ireland prepared to throw through there. Hooker Dan Sheehan to Peter O'Mahony, going for like a reliable front ball, maybe because they've lost a couple. Gibson Pock, short ball to Bundy Aki. He's chopped down by Underhill, but Ireland still power on. They trail by 5 nearing the 20-minute mark. 5 live at Twickenham. Caelan Doris in centre field. Ollie Lawrence came away with it, but illegally so. And Nicker Amish said the ruck was formed, he was offside. Well, Ben Earl's been singled out, but Lawrence definitely had his hands on it too, the try scorer, and Ireland could take this to 8-6.
Yeah, didn't need to do it. Again, a brilliant defence by England. Their physicality, this pack are coming right up into the Irish faces, something that they haven't experienced in the opening 3 matches of this Six Nations campaign. You can definitely tell that they're rattled, but a soft penalty like that puts them back within 2 points of this English team who started so well.
Yeah, rush of blood, wasn't it? Rush of blood to there, and we've all been there. You've made a big impact, and Ollie Lawrence has so far made a big impact in this game, and just thought he was above the rules, above the laws. Easy 3 points for Ireland, and the sting yet again comes back to bite England.
But this Irish team, they haven't quite performed in the opening 20 minutes. That there was so much talk about what we're expecting, the tempo, the organisation between them. They feel like they haven't really had the ball so far.
But they look composed, Tommy. Ireland still look really composed. They're going through their routines, they're being accurate, they're not fazed by getting hit on the gain line. It doesn't at the moment it doesn't faze them.
Jack Crowley kicked it from right in front. And Paul Grayson, you got some news on the HIA Calvin Nash.
Yeah, Calvin Nash has failed his HIA, so that is now a permanent replacement as Chesham makes an awesome tackle on Bundy Aki into touch on the kickoff. But as a permanent replacement, Calvin Nash off, failed his HIA, Kieran Crawley on.
And just one of those things that we spoke in the build-up, all this talk about an Irish procession, but you come with a 6-2 bench, you get an early injury, you're forced to reshuffle, and then Tommy Bowe, Bundy Aki ran down a dead end there. I know he may have sent an opportunity, but that was quite un-Irish to sort of take that on and get bundled into touch.
Very un-Irish, but also an unbelievable tackle by Chesham to knock him into touch as well. I don't think he was expecting that. I don't think Chesham was, because he's now gone down with looks like a bit of a stinger on his arm as well. But these are the small little mistakes, these small little things that when they don't go Ireland's way, we haven't seen them experience in this. It makes me think, I don't want to go there yet about New Zealand in the quarter-final, but certainly the tempo that England have come into this, Ireland are not getting it all their way in the opening 20 minutes of this game, and I'm not doubting them. I think they've got all the presence, they'll be able to weather this storm from England, but simple mistakes by their key men, the likes of Bundy Aki, is definitely food for thought.
Ollie Chesham turned it in within 21 minutes. It's turned into some kind of talisman for England there. He's reading the game. This is like giving him a bit of freedom to read the game better from 6 rather than that second row, and he's making impact. He's carrying. He's competing for ball. He's making big tackles. He's been a real nuisance, and seems to be that type of player that the rest of the England side want to see. A little bit like we used to see Maro Itoje play in that vein. Yeah, when England need him on the pitch for sure.
Yeah, well, he's been exceptional for the first 20, but only a quarter of the game to go. A lot of rugby to play as Cole took the ball short from George at the line-up, then found Mitchell, and that's a nice start from Jamie George to take it up to the 22. Alex Mitchell to Ellis Genge. Genge pops it on to Ben Earl, one of England's ever-willing ball carriers. 8-6 to England. 5 live from the BBC, and Faye Webosa's gone looking for work off Ford's shoulder, doing exactly what Steve Borthwick wanted him to do. George Ford's in the pocket for a drop goal. Didn't quite get it down. He took sort of a while to get out his hands. We'll get the Paul Grayson verdict on that. A master drop goaler himself as George Martin drives on for England. They still do have it, so the opportunity not gone to waste. Mitchell out to Ford. Ford to Sam Underhill, and they're just managing to bust that gain line, England. Mitchell looks left but goes right to Genge, who goes off on a bit of an arc and then is caught on the 22.
No, you pulled him in.
Mitchell to Ford. Henry Slade tries to get round his opposite man, just short of the 22. Mitchell, will he dart? He's dealing with slightly scrappy ball, but Ireland were offside. And now a decision for England to make. Let's bring in Paul Grayson on the touchline. You're right there. It's a 3-point opportunity for Ford, who missed with that drop goal, or they could put it in the corner, Grace.
Yeah, wrong option from George Ford to go for it. It was between two minds anyway. England got such momentum in attack. Getting onto the front foot, Ellis Genge popping a short ball and then blast clear in the ruck to keep England's momentum. Ford made a poor choice because Ireland to stop them will have to infringe, which is exactly what they've done now. You don't need the drop goal at this time.
Yeah, we've been after England to be mixing it up. Give Ireland something different to think about. Lovely little unorthodox line out there with Mitchell, Dan Cole getting the ball static, no one jumping up into the air, but it's ball in play. You feel England are the ones that want to take on the opposition, ball in play, ball on the field, ball in hand.
Oh, they've gone through the line now. Ben Earl's a metre short as Tommy Bowe puts his hands to his head. That's the kind of enterprise we asked for from England, and they're certainly playing with energy and enterprise, and they're only a couple of metres out. Ben Earl couldn't have been closer. Oh, Tyke Burns got in there, and the referee says fair play. That's canny from the Irish, but what a chance for England. Back from Gibson Park to Lowe, who slightly scuffed his clearance. Burbank's surely going to have a go, and he's galloped past Van der Fleer. He finds Faye Webosa. Webosa just short of the 22. Bodies flying everywhere up the ruck. What incredible intensity to this Six Nations clash. 5 live at Twickenham on BBC Sounds as George Furbank goes to within 20. 8-6 England lead. There's George Martin on a big lumbering carry from a Ford pop. Mitchell digs for it. Ford again on the gain line, finds the ever-industrious Chesham. But how close did Ben Earl get Matt Dawson through that line-out move? As another huge hit comes in.
Yeah, well, that's it. Just making Ireland think constantly. And they're still doing it with ball in hand.
Oh, Lawrence's kick. That looks nicely weighted. Is this going to sit up? Who's it going to sit up for? It's going to sit up for Ollie Lawrence, who's under the post for his second in 24 minutes. It'll be checked for a knock-on. But the bounce of the ball going England's way, and Twickenham to a man, woman and child on its feet.
I mean, I want to get excited about that, but I was just watching Ollie Lawrence. Wasn't excited, Tommy, about scoring the try, was he? You thought he'd be cheering to the crowd and
it was trying to do things in the background. Go on, mate. What's he say?
Putting that index finger up in that winning sign, but he wasn't.
While the ball is attempted to be gathered by White or not.
So we're just going to look at this little grubber through. Lovely touch from Lawrence, who followed it through. Everybody chasing back, and I think George Furbank has had that in his hands, and maybe it's gone forward.
It's shown on the screen now, Nika.
Yeah,
okay, we'll
it's
clear
a
that
tough
off
one.
now.
It looks like he did have it in his hand.
I suppose there is a question to be asked. Did an Irishman bat it out of his hands?
White touches, goes forward.
Yeah, knock on there.
Probably not. Probably not.
Yeah,
Nika, can we slow down? I need to just check things.
They're checking a game, and Matt Dawson's first instincts look to be bang on.
Ben,
and you could maybe tell from Lawrence's reaction, Furbank goes for it. And I think Ben Whitehouse, the TMO, is going to be ruling this one out. But It's a beautifully weighted kick from Ollie. England have been criticised for over-kicking a bit in the red zone, but that was perfectly weighted.
You said a few minutes ago the bounce of the ball is going England's way. In the opening 24 minutes of this match, England, the bounce has gone their way so far, but they haven't been able to capitalise on it. How Ben Earl got stopped inches from the line, and then this one.
We got a clear knock on, but
again.
No, hang on. We saw it down.
A clear knock on. It is a clear knock on. Kieran Crawley's hand is there as well, but it looked like.
We're waiting for a couple.
But why that's now effective, Chris, in the red zone is because England are threatening.
Yes.
Because England are threatening through the hands and are creating overlaps. All of a sudden, Ireland have to defend differently. They're getting slightly taken at that 13 channel, and therefore they're going to have to come up and defend. Therefore, there's a bit of space in behind.
Because England are playing at pace and asking questions.
Absolutely right. So England are playing tactically superbly well because they're going through the options and they're making the opposition think.
And you have Hugo Keenan, who's now had to move onto the wing. Obviously, Calvin Nash has gone off, which means Kieran Crawley has come off the bench into fullback. He normally plays 10 and 12. Potentially you could say he was out of position there, but a wonderful vision by Ollie Lawrence to put that ball in behind this Irish line speed.
8-6 England, but it could have been more. Lawrence's try understandably ruled out, but the Twickenham crowd, I mean, normally you get people coming and going from their seats, getting their beers in. Everyone around us is transfixed on the action. The runaway tournament leaders, the favourites for the Grand Slam, being pushed really hard by England, but only 25 minutes gone on 5 Live. Let's see how this Irish scrum unfolds 6 metres from their own line, and then we'll do some headlines from the sporting world today. 5:15 on 5 Live. It normally would be Sports Report with Steve Crossman, but we're live action all the way at Twickenham, and then later at Arsenal, which kicks off in around 15 minutes time. You get the whole of that game on Sports Extra as Gibson Park clears his lines. It will be an England line out round the halfway. As we heard our commentary game earlier from Deno and the team, Luton late equaliser at Palace, 96th minute, 1-1 it finished there. Sheffield United off the foot of the table but concede an injury time. They drew 2-2 at Bournemouth. Wolves 2, Fulham 1. We were hearing from Pat Murphy. And Manchester United beat Everton 2-0. A couple of penalties in the early kick-off. Arsenal Brentford Sports Extra 5:30. Championship leaders Leicester, they dropped points in a 2-2 draw at Hull. Ipswich, they stayed third, losing at Hull. 2 goals for Cardiff after 90 minutes as England attack. So Southampton have closed the gap on the top 4 with a 4-2 win over Sunderland. So all happening at the top of the Championship. Stoke out the relegation zone after winning at Preston. Portsmouth lead in League 1 down to 5 points. They're held by Blackpool. Mansfield are 3 points clear in League 2 after beating Swindon. As Ireland force a scrum, England caught with the ball in possession. In Scotland, Neil Warnock stood down as Aberdeen's interim manager already after they beat Kilmarnock to reach the Scottish Cup semi-finals. Leicester are through to the semi-finals of the Women's FA Cup for the first time. Leicester knocking out Liverpool. And the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix is live on the BBC Sport website right now, and we can get an update from Jenny Gow.
Yes, there's a safety car after a heavy crash in turn 23 for Lance Stroll in the Aston Martin. It happened on lap 7, and now everyone's pulled into the pits to change their tyres. So Norris in the McLaren is now leading this race. He didn't stop. He's got the lead, but it's Max Verstappen who is in real terms in the lead, having pitted already in this race. It's lap 8 of 50.
Thanks a lot, Jenny. Go to the BBC Sport website for commentary of the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. 26 minutes gone at Twickenham. England 8, Ireland 6. A brilliant 25 minutes from England after a strong Irish start, but Ireland forced the scrum. England caught with the ball and a maul was formed, and now Ireland going to work with the England scrum. Doris finds Gibson Park down the blind side. Gibson Park's kick will just dribble out of play. He really wants that to stay in, didn't he, Tommy Bowe? Yeah. But he has forced England into their own 22.
A lot of space there on the left-hand side for Ireland. Kick it through by Gibson Park. But I'd say from an Irish point of view, it's just nice to get into the English half. I'm just looking at the stats here. England have 67% territory in the opening 25 minutes of this game, with 60% of the possession as well. They've been playing unbelievably great rugby at the minute, but they're still only 2 points ahead. Is that enough against a team who we know who are so potent as Ireland?
You could have been reading the stats from Scotland, England 2 weeks ago there, Tommy. very, very similar.
Early on the lifter.
However, I do think that the intent and the execution of this England side is very different to 2 weeks ago.
And then conversely, Ireland giving a penalty away there, Tommy, taking out the England player in the air.
A very different side than we saw against Wales 2 weeks ago.
Pressure,
and again, it is the pressure. There's so much talk about how good this Irish team is. People questioned me before, is this the greatest ever? But if you think about the opposition that they've played so far in the Six Nations, France are absolutely a million miles off the team that we saw last season and in the World Cup. Against Italy, who are a team who won obviously against Scotland earlier on, but they weren't quite at their best against Ireland, and Wales, who are absolutely a team in transition. So this is really the first time I've seen this Irish team being put under pressure and squeezed, and it's interesting to see, can they find a way out of it at the moment?
Can England keep this up? Great carry, Ollie Lawrence, he's got one try, almost got another one. Alex Mitchell, who is permanently threatening on that fringe. The ball is shot out. Referee Amish Kelly happy that was done legally. Now there is an advantage as Ireland are offside, and Ben Earl is at dummy half, rugby league style. 11 minutes to go till half time. England, as we've said a few times, are on it today. To the delight of Twickenham as Ford kicks for Lawrence, and Lawrence has got it. No, he's knocked it on. Back for the penalty. And Paul Grayson on the touchline. George Ford can bang this over for 11-6 from bang in front.
Yeah, that's exactly what England want from a launch. A clean line-out win in the middle. George Martin off the top, flat. I mean, I'm absolutely dead in line with that pass here on the touchline. It was 1 foot backwards, perfect delivery.
10 metre,
and then Ollie Lawrence,
metre.
100 miles an hour, but he's not running on his own.
Line,
George Ford's got 3 options to pass. Yes, he's going to pick the lead runner, which England are doing well, but they're on the front foot, not by a yard. They're 5 metres over the gain line. Then it's game on. Alex Mitchell does what he does for Northampton, pops out, attracts a defender, passes late to Jamie George. He's 3 metres over the gain line. Ireland forced to infringe.
The English pack have been so impressive so far. You think about Chesham, you think about Genge, their ball carrying, they're clearly getting over the gain line every time. And Ireland, the likes of Joe McCarthy, the young second row who's been such a prospect, coming out and absolutely smoking people in tackles so far in this competition. He is going backwards at the minute because he can't deal with the physicality of this English side.
Well, you may have heard Jamie George deep in conversation with Nicky Amish-Kelly. That's the advantage of having a captain right at the coalface. You can kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone, talk scrums and get in the referee's ear a bit as George Ford from bang in front. Half an hour gone at Twickenham, live on 5 Live and BBC Sounds on a beautiful mild afternoon in southwest London. Ford keeps his head down, but he's pushed it to the right, and Matt Dawson, 22. You bang your fist on the table because England can't pass up those kind of opportunities. 8-6 it stays.
You've got to assume you're not going to get many, Chris, are you really? And George will be disappointed in himself there. That's bread and butter for him. Didn't miss by much, but every single point, a 5-point lead, very, very tidy. Then start your little drop goal routines, nick a try. It's all about building the scoreboard when you're playing against these big guns.
Well, Crowley has put his boot through that one from the 22 restart. Ford is going to reply with a spiral bomb. Oh, that is, who's taking that?
Oh, I hate those.
Oh, no. Oh, it's well taken, Frawley, but it was the most perfect spiral up and under from George Ford. But Ireland have it. We have not seen much of Ireland with the ball in hand, and Van der Fleer just runs into England, and they're going to go to the boot. Crowley straight down the throat of George Ford, his opposite man who scampers around the backfield neatly. Up to halfway goes Ford, sent up a Gary Owen that might be a couple of inches too far, taken by Ireland and number 23 Kieran Frawley, and Ireland, Tommy Bowe, will call the mark.
Yeah, just that little bit letting Ireland off the gas because this Irish team, they're on the rack at the minute. England are putting them under so much pressure, but with George Ford's missed kick, they've had 2 chances inches from the try line. They have to be clinical whenever you're taking on a team like Ireland, who are up there with one of the best in the world. We're not seeing them at their best at the minute, which means that England have to take their chances, and so far they're keeping Ireland in the game.
Ireland are going to get ball at some stage, aren't they?
Of course they will. They'll get ball. I just feel like I haven't seen them have any attack at all so far in this game.
And England do need to keep executing these opportunities. They've gone in the 22 6 times. They're averaging just over a point an entry, which isn't going to win your test matches, especially against Ireland. But England are doing really well after 32 minutes. They lead 8-6. And we've spent most of this half, haven't we, guys, looking to the right, where England are attacking. Halfway line for England. With just 7 minutes to go until half-time here at Twickenham. What a day of sport it's been. What a day of Six Nations rugby after Italy stunned Scotland. 31-29 it finished in Rome. A famous win for the Italians. As we go to the Women's FA Cup, a goal at Brighton for Hamish Marshall.
It's this quarter-final tie, and within the first 10 minutes, Manchester United lead Brighton by a goal to nil. Millie Turner with a header from 6 yards out. Brighton failed to clear the corner. Turner made them pay. Brighton 0, Manchester United 1.
Thank you very much, Hamish. If you want your football in the 5:30 Premier League, Arsenal-Brentford at the Emirates, it is underway on Sports Extra. In 7 minutes time we'll be with our commentary team, Conor McNamara and Michael Brown shortly. Stay with 5 Live there if you want the rugby as Ollie Chesham drives up to the sponsors logo. Just short of halfway. 8-6 England. Penalty Ireland. That came from the TMO, didn't it? And Ireland, for all of England's pressure, will have a chance to go into the lead as we edge towards half-time.
Brilliant turnover by Bundyaki. My goodness. I mean, we saw Ty Byrne doing it just off the Irish try line. Bundyaki just on the halfway line. These crucial moments. Even you were talking about Josh van der Flier, the Irish number 7, getting in when he shouldn't have. And giving Ireland a chance now. It looks like Jack Crowley's going to go for the penalty. He's going to go for the post to try and put Ireland in front by a point. Long kick though.
What's the is Paul Grayson got has he sort of licked his index finger and feeling the breeze?
There is a little bit of breeze up there, but it shouldn't affect these kicks, to be perfectly honest, unless it's absolutely blowing a hoolie. Twickenham's reasonably consistent. Just looking away to my left, the Union flag. Gustin then dying. No problems here. Distance, accuracy is the only thing.
It looked like a really clear decision by the Irish captain Peter O'Mahony. There was no messing around, no talk about going to the corner. This is right in front. It's 45 metres, and I think it's a really good opportunity for Ireland for the first time since the opening few minutes to get their noses in front.
For sure, and that's actually quite encouraging from an Irish point of view. If they can take the pressure they've taken from England and still go into the lead. Here is Jack Crowley, has it got the distance? Oh, it's snuck over. Nicely done. England 8, Ireland 9, the Irish lead at Twickenham.
Yeah, as was mentioned, only maybe 6-7 minutes ago, as much possession and territory as England have, and they've looked good, and there's no reason why they can't press on. But Ireland have just not ruffled a feather of themselves yet. They are not worried in the slightest.
And Bundyaki takes it from George Ford's restart. Atoje and Feiwa Boso. He's getting himself about, the youngster, 21 years of age, first start. And England are so quick with their rush defence there that Ireland are almost caught under their own sticks, but good composure from the Irish. And this time, after scuffing a couple, James Lowe really does put his boot through it and clears up to around about 30 metres from the Irish line. It will give England a set piece opportunity. England 8, Ireland 9, 4 minutes to go to the break.
That kick by Jack Crowley, we're just seeing a replay of it, and it's crept over the crossbar by a matter of inches. And you think, with Jack Crowley nailing a kick like that, you just have to think about George Ford, who had a similar kick just in front and unfortunately put it wide. How much will England rue those missed opportunities?
Jamie George to throw right in front of us, our perfect vantage point here at Twickenham, and there's the Saracens combination. George to Atoje, we've seen it, club country, and for the British and Irish Lions, heave is the cry from the Twickenham crowd. They're not going for their half-time pies yet. They're transfixed by the action as Mitchell wings it into centre field. Slade, Ford's dancing in the backfield. Feiwa Bosa's off his wing, finds Furbank, who came on a tight line and knocked it on. Tommy Freeman kicks it, hacks it forward and almost gets on the end of it, but it mattered not. The ball was knocked on by Furbank. Just that connectivity from England not quite there, but very enterprising. England still trail by a point.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I can't quite work out at the moment whether it's really good lines are running from England in this first sort of 36 minutes, or whether Ireland have been really quite put out of kilter by Keenan going onto the right wing, because every time England attack they look like they've got a man over, Tommy.
Yeah, they do, and that's the second time Furbank has run a little bit of a tight line and put the winger, whoever it is, coming around the corner under pressure, because it's split seconds to give that pass. And Femi Wasabo, he gave the pass. He thought the Furbank was on the out, because if he had stayed on the outside, it was a 2-on-1. unfortunately Furbank tried to cut a line, tried to straighten things up a little bit, and the pass just bounced off his chest.
And is that an example, Paul Grayson? If George Furbank's at Northampton, he's maybe got someone who just knows his game that bit better and finds him there.
Yeah, it was a pretty sharp pass from Feo Aboso, wasn't it? Just zipped across the front of George Furbank, who half a glance up because he knew the impact was coming, but he's so dangerous, isn't he? He looks a threat. He's running to make breaks. He's not running to set up the next phase. It's nice to see him. I know he's made a couple of mistakes, only really one today, I suppose, but it's nice to see him play like he plays for Northampton. He's a genuine threat on the ball.
It really is, but I think for Furbank to not rush him, because he's such a danger man with ball in hand, it looked like Furbank just tried to run short, which meant he had to give the pass. Let him run with the ball in hand. He's causing Ireland all sorts of trouble.
You played plenty of games at 13, as much as you have on the wing, Tommy.
So difficult.
If you've got that 15 causing havoc out there, oh my goodness me, you've got so many decisions to make.
Yeah, exactly. If he just keeps that little bit of width with Freeman on the touchline, it's so hard for Robbie Henshaw to get out to both of them.
Ireland scrum, they're in their own territory, but have a platform to clear if they so wish, and they will use Lowe's big left boot, and he sends it downfield. Has he got out on the full? Well, Furbank has taken it, and then I think Furbank's gone out of play. Oh, lots happened here, Paul Grayson, because Lowe, I don't know if he kicked from inside his 22 or not, and then Furbank tried to keep it in the end. I think he's actually ended up it's going to be a Highland line out after all that.
Yeah, it's as good as a 50-22, isn't it? He waited as long as he possibly can to let the ball go straight out into touch, then he realised that he was going to have to play it just the toe end of his boot on the line.
Yeah, perfect call from the officials as Furbank landed. His front foot was infield, and then his back foot just clipped the whitewash. And Ireland, I'm not sure we've seen Ireland in a better position in this first half, ready to take the pill.
No, that saved Ireland as well, because it looked like James Lowe could have, that ball I think got thrown back into the 22, so if that had went out in play, it would have been a scrum right back inside the Irish 22, so Furbank really did Ireland a favour.
Just over a minute to go of this first half. England 8, Ireland 9, but Ireland, as Matt Dawson was saying, have a great attacking platform, and Dan Sheehan is dancing in centre field, 20 odd metres out. Doris, lovely tip on to Omani as England creep offside. Ireland threatening here on the brink of half time. They lead by a point. Another try could really hurt England. Lovely flat ball, but Byrne is chopped in half by Martin. He knocks it on, no advantage, and this, you will feel, will be 3 points for Jack Crowley, and half time as well, as the boos ring out round Twickenham. Paul Grayson, your view of that from down on the touchline?
It's the first time Ireland really on the front foot, isn't it? You can't blitz if you're going backwards. James Lowe came and played first receiver, Bundy Aki off his shoulder, forward carriers round the corner, so England can't generate that line speed. The quality of England's tackling has been excellent in the first half. You're never too far away from a big hit, but back foot infringements, when you've had all the ball in the first half, back foot infringements with players not engaged in the contact are so annoying, so frustrating. England are going to go in, what are they going to go in now? 12-8 down, having absolutely dominated the first half. Ireland just shrugged their shoulders. This is what we do.
Yeah, when you're playing that blitz defence, part of the genius of the blitz defence is knowing when to do the blitz defence. And if you get out the blocks too quick, sometimes it just pays dividend just to back off a little bit.
Crowley kicks the 3, and that is that for half-time, and Ireland sprint off Twickenham as if they've done a smash and grab that first 40 and want to get out of there. They've kicked 4 penalties, they've been under the cosh, Tommy Boat, but they lead by 4 at the break.
Yeah, I think they can't believe their luck so far. They've been the second best team out in the first half, but Ireland go in ahead, 4 points ahead of this English side. I think they're sprinting off the pitch because they haven't done much in that first half. It'd be really interesting to see what Andy Farrell, if he'll make any changes or what he'll try to do to this team, because they just haven't been able to have a chance. They haven't attacked, we haven't seen them with ball in hand, but when they get their chances, they're knocking the ball over the bar, and it's given them that comfortable enough lead at half time.
Huge half time for both coaches here. Really, really big, because there's no question, probably the most difficult thing to do in a half time is is say, keep doing more of the same, boys, because it just doesn't happen. And yet you didn't really, I know we're talking 12-8 down, but I didn't want that half to end for England, because England had momentum, they had feel, that it was making sense to them. And now you've got to listen to instruction and get out there and try and get back onto that treadmill, which is not easy to do. So if anything, this is going to be an easier half-time for Ireland, because it's not going to get a rocket, but they've got a lot of realisation to take on board. Whereas from England's perspective, you've got to say to them,
keep doing what you got to do.
Yeah. Well, England have been good this half, but Ireland lead. Fascinating first 40, loads to come in the second half. Steve Crossman, England 8, Ireland 12.
Thank you very much, guys. We'll be back with you for second half commentary at Twickenham. Loads of reaction to the day's football to fit in. Full-time scores in the Premier League. Manchester United 2, Everton 0. Crystal Palace 1, Luton Town 1, Bournemouth 2, Sheffield United 2 and Wolves 2, Fulham 1. We're underway in the 5:30 kickoff. It's on 5 Sports Extra. Arsenal-Brentford. Henry Moran.
3.5 minutes gone, still goalless. Arsenal looking to go top of the Premier League, at least for this evening. They make a couple of changes today. No place for Raya in goal against his parent club, so a rare appearance for Aaron Ramsdale. Gabriel Martinelli limped off in that thumping win against Sheffield United. He's replaced by Leandro Trossard. As for Brentford, they make the one alteration. Keane Lewis Potter in for Sergio Reguilon, who's got a minor hamstring injury, early stages, but Arsenal already dominating. Good opportunity for Trossard. The ball smuggled away at the back post. The Emirates rocking, Arsenal expecting, still goalless.
Earlier today, Leicester City won at Liverpool in the Women's FA Cup quarter-final. The second quarter-final is Brighton against Manchester United. Hamish Marshall.
It's Brighton 0, Manchester United 2. 20 minutes played in this repeat of last year's semi-final, and it's going the same way as that game. United scoring twice in the first 17 minutes. Millie Turner heading home at the back post after a corner wasn't cleared, and a neat finish when Nikita Parris outpaced the home defence for number 2. This is United's only realistic trophy chance remaining this season, and they've got 1 foot in the semis already. Brighton 0, Manchester United 2.
There's live commentary on the BBC Sport website from the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Jenny Gow is watching.
I am. It's lap 18 of 50. It's currently Max Verstappen leading ahead of his teammate for Red Bull, Sergio Perez. Lando Norris in third place at the moment, but a couple of the drivers haven't had a pit stop yet. That's Hamilton included in that. He is falling back through this field. He has to stop again after a crash from Lance Stroll, saw almost everyone else coming to the pits. So it's game on at the moment with Verstappen 5 seconds ahead of Perez.
Next to Indian Wells, Emma Raducanu preparing to face Diana Yastremska in the second round. Russell Fuller.
And Yastremska, Steve, a woman who nearly did what Raducanu did at the US Open by winning the Australian Open as a qualifier. She fell in the semi-final in Melbourne in the end, and she's now the seeded player as Raducanu continues just the 5th tournament of her comeback after last May's series of operations. Cameron Norrie is also in action today, having had a bye in the first round. He's up against Lorenzo Sonego of Italy, and he's done well to make it to the start line. He's been really quite unwell over the last fortnight, and is very short of practice heading into a tournament which he won in 2021.
And there's more coverage from 7:30 on 5 Sports Extra. We will squeeze in all the football reaction that we can, and then second half commentary from Twickenham, all after the news on 5 Live with Carl Hartley.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Thanks, Steve. Tens of thousands of people have marched through London to the US Embassy demanding a ceasefire in Gaza. Singer Charlotte Church and the former leader of the Labour Party, Jeremy Corbyn, who's now an independent MP, were among them. It was the 10th pro-Palestinian march in the capital since Hamas attacked Israel on the 7th of October. Aid agencies say they're ready to attempt a sea crossing from Cyprus to Gaza to bring much needed aid to those caught up in the conflict. A ship carrying 200 tons of food and other supplies is waiting in the port of Larnaca. The Defence Secretary Grant Shapps says the British frigate HMS Richmond shot down 2 Houthi drones off Yemen last night. Earlier, the US said it had repelled a sustained attack on commercial vessels and warships. And a 13-year-old boy is in hospital with serious injuries after being repeatedly stabbed in an attack near Glasgow's Queen's Park. Police were called to help at around 8:30 last night.
Hi, my name's Eddie Hearn and this is No Passion, No Point. I'm excited to be back with this new series. As always, I'll be talking to top performers about what drives them, how they gain an edge over competitors, and whether their dedication to constant improvement comes at a cost.
I love golf. I'll play it until my hands bleed. I just enjoy going out there playing with no fear.
What makes them feel fulfilled?
It's not the money, it's not the trophies, it's the friendships and the memories I've got.
And does that change as their career progresses?
Just a girl who grew up playing football and now I'm getting paps like without even seeing the camera, like it's crazy.
From BBC Radio 5 Live. No passion, no point. Listen whenever you like on BBC Sounds.
This is 5 Live Sports with Steve Crossman on 5 Live. Listen on BBC Sounds.
England 8, Ireland 12, half-time at Twickenham, second half commentary on the way. First half commentary on 5 Sports Extra right now of Arsenal-Brentford. Henry Moran.
8 minutes gone, still Arsenal 0, Brentford 0, but the Gunners dominating. They've shown such brilliant form so far this year, looking for a 9th consecutive win as Saka comes galloping down this near side. They'll feel they could easily have put real pressure on Brentford early with back-to-back corners not given, and corners have been such a successful area of Arsenal's game this campaign. Yellow card already for Frank Onyeka of Brentford for a wild lunge on Trossard. Arsenal dominating, yet to create a real opening though, goalless.
Elsewhere in the Premier League, a stoppage-time goal from Corley Woodrow saw Luton Town snatch a draw against Crystal Palace. Here's Luton boss Rob Edwards with George Cummins.
Well worked, Rob. Just sum up how you're feeling. What an end to the game for you.
It was a great end to the game for us. It was such a challenging day. We obviously, and it's well documented. I know there's a number of teams struggling with injuries at the moment, but we got a lot, and then to have to bring 2 centre backs off during the game as well made it really challenging for us. In a day where it was already difficult for us to have loads of rhythm and we weren't at our best. Credit to Palace for that. There wasn't loads in the game. I think possession was split evenly, but they probably had edged it first half. I thought we had momentum in the second half, but couldn't really create loads of chances and crosses coming in, but not loads of quality in that final third. And then to have to juggle the pack and shuffle the pack like we did, force changes. Players deserve a lot of credit. So it's a good feeling now, as disappointed as we felt last week after losing a point late on. We've got one there. I think it just says a lot about the group that they don't know when they're beaten. They keep going. We have scored a lot. We conceded late as well, but we have scored a lot of late goals, and that point could be huge for us going forward.
In the Championship, leaders Leicester City dropped points. They were held to a 2-2 draw at Hull City. Ipswich stay third after losing at Cardiff at lunchtime. The host scored twice in stoppage time. Southampton are fourth after a dramatic 4-2 win over Sunderland. Stoke moved out of the relegation zone after winning 2-1 at Preston. Back in the Premier League, Sheffield United had to settle for a point after leading 2-0 at Bournemouth. It finished 2-2. Here's manager Chris Wilder with John Akers.
Chris, so near and yet so far.
Yeah, it would have been a big 3 points. I'm realistic. Any sort of result today, off the back of what happened Monday, would have been a good result, and we've got that.
You showed some good resilience. Your players showed some resilience, didn't they?
Yeah, I don't know if you looked at the end. There was bodies everywhere. It was like a war zone.
Everyone had cramp.
Everybody had cramp. There was people going down. We're making physical substitutions, which is, listen, is maybe a longer term sort of talk about that in terms of robustness and recruitment and everything else that goes with. But you can never build any sort of momentum. You're taking people off at key times because they can't last the race, and you're really hoping and fingers crossed that those boys don't get injured and obviously be out for a big certain period.
And it's a point to take into the next home game as well.
We're off the bottom. So we'll take that. We've got a big home game coming up. We've got 2 or 3 weeks now. Obviously, we don't play next Saturday. We've got an international break, so there's a big chunk of period there. So hopefully, we can get 3 or 4 of the players back, and we have to do so much better at home now. That's got to be the focus.
Chris Wilder. Portsmouth's lead in League One is down to 5 points. They were held to a goalless draw at 10-man Blackpool. Derby up to second after winning 3-0 at Bristol Rovers. Bolton dropped to third after drawing 2-2 at Exeter. The early game in the Premier League. Penalty from Bruno Fernandes and Marcus Rashford, enough for Manchester United to beat Everton at Old Trafford. United boss Erik ten Hag has been speaking to Steve Wilson.
Eric, congratulations. You needed to win, and it was fairly comfortable for you in the end.
You always have to fight for your points. And there are no easy games, and especially not Everton. I think they have a very good style of play, very good structure, difficult to beat. Also, other teams very struggling with them, so we really compliment. But I have to say, we created a lot of chances, and we had very good counterattacks. I think overall we could have scored 3-4 goals, and I think we defended very well. They had attempts, but we dealt with this. Our back four, but not only our back four. Don't forget the keeper, and don't forget all the other players. We defended as a team very well.
Your 2 penalties were both brilliantly taken, weren't they? I mean, Bruno and Marcus are terrific penalty takers, and they very straightforward decisions, obviously penalties, and very well taken.
I think so, but it's more the setup, how we came in behind, and Alejandro did brilliant, and it were really tempo dribbles, and then it's very difficult to stop. So he deserved the penalties. It was, as you say, quite obvious. Maybe we should have even had a penalty more with a handball, where Bruno was in a position to finish. But yeah, it's also part of the game, and we took them well, as you say. And we have very good penalty takers with Bruno, with Resi, also Casemiro, Christian Eriksen. It's a part of football.
Erik ten Hag. Mansfield stay 3 points clear in League 2 after beating Swindon. Second place Stockport won at Newport. Wrexham stay third thanks to a 3-1 victory at 10-man Morecambe. Wolves beat Fulham by 2-1 at Molineux. Here's manager Gary O'Neill with Pat Murphy.
Your celebrations at the end, have you been rehearsing them? Are they coming naturally?
No, forced into them by the supporters. They forced me to do them. So, I'm delighted that they're happy. So, I hope they're really, really proud of their team today, because they should be, because the team gave absolutely everything there. I mean, if I was a Wolves fan, which obviously I am at this moment, but if I'd grown up being a Wolves fan and you asked me what I wanted to see from my team, that would be it. So I think the players deserve an awful lot of credit, and I'm sure the supporters have, as they always do, given their full backing again. They'll be back again next Saturday and get behind the boys, and let's see what we can do.
This is a fan base that's in love with your team. Is that stretching too much of a point?
I'm not sure. I don't listen to noise really, apart from when it's out there and it's ringing around the stadium, like I was in media stuff, and I'm just really focused on what we're trying to do. So I feel that they love their team at this moment. It can change quickly because losing football matches changes everything, but I can guarantee them that if we lose, it'll be trying as hard as we can. So I think they've sort of accepted that. They understand that the group is giving their what it can, and we will fall short on certain things, but it won't be for a lack of effort or togetherness.
That's Gary O'Neill. Back to the Emirates. Arsenal Brentford in the Premier League. Henry Moran.
15 minutes gone, still goalless. Brentford have survived the early blitz and are coming into the game. They've won a couple of corners and putting just a little bit of pressure on the Aaron Ramsdale goal. 15 gone, Arsenal 0, Brentford 0.
Thank you very much, Henry. That one is live now on 5 Sports Extra. In Scotland, Neil Warnock has stepped down as Aberdeen's interim manager less than an hour after leading the club to the Scottish Cup semi-finals. He was watching his team beat Kilmarnock 2-1, then announced that he's going to leave. Aberdeen, Dave McCormack says the club are at an advanced stage in their search for a replacement. Neil Warnock is going with immediate effect. England's men's cricketers are preparing to leave India after another humiliating defeat, this time in the final test match of the series. The hosts just needed 48 overs to dismiss England this morning, winning by an innings and 64 runs and winning the series 4-1. Historic moment, though, for Jimmy Anderson, taking his 700th test wicket. Scores for you in the Welsh Premier League. Newtown 2, Cardiff Met 0, Barrytown 1, Colwyn Bay won the game between Pontypridd and Aberystwyth was postponed. And in Northern Ireland, Ballymena 2, Crusaders 4, Carrick Rangers 0, Newry City 1, Coleraine 0, Larne 0, Glenavon 4, Dungannon 0 and Glentoran 0, Loughgall 3. Those are full-time scores. Right, we're ready to get back underway for the second half at Twickenham. Remember, after this, Arsenal-Brentford on 5 Sports Extra will come over to 5 Live, but there's a lot to happen between now and then. Chris Jones.
There really is, Steve. England 8, Ireland 12. Doesn't quite tell the story, that scoreline. England with loads of ball, loads of opportunities, scoring the game's only tried through Ollie Lawrence. But Ireland hung in. They kicked 4 penalties from Crowley. They have a 4-point lead. As Nick Amishkelly says to George Ford, let's go to work for this second half. Ford kicks. Bayo Boso's up there. Aki juggles with it and just about retains it, the Connacht man.
Inside.
Twickenham just getting back to its seats after a bit of half-time refreshment. They will not want to take their eyes off this second half as Lowe clears downfield and Furbank feeds Ford who sends up a towering kick into the darkening southwest London sky. Forward comes Furbank. Crowley was up there as well. And it's going to be a scrum to England winning that kick battle and making Matt Dawson a good 30-40 metres.
Yeah, certainly George Ford has carried on where he left off in that first half. The lovely up and unders, whether it be orthodox or spiral bombs. Good kick chase. Just a little bit of pressure on Ireland, which again is just that constant little dig in the ribs that England are able to do at the moment.
More pressure for Ireland. England scrum in the 25 metres out from the line, but from Andy Farrell's point of view, Ireland could easily have gone in at half-time 15 points behind. Instead they went in 12 points to 8. They'll be very confident coming out here in the second half. They have an extremely strong bench to come off, I'm sure, in the next 10-15 minutes. But what they will definitely not want now is for England to get a try, which they badly need.
3 Grand Slam winners in commentary with us. You heard from Matt Dawson and Tommy Bowe just there. Paul Grayson's on the touchline with a great view of this England attack as Mitchell feeds Henry Slade right on the gain line forward. Boso off his wing, chopped down by a couple of Irishmen, but England makes some ground. Ford goes back inside, and then Earl, does he take that ball? I think he does, but no, it's a penalty to Ireland as England flock in at the side. Paul Grayson, your view there as England try to get an attack going, but Ireland snuff it out.
Yeah, playing nice and flat, England, getting deep into the Irish line. Then you've just got to make sure that your clearers, in whichever way you pass the ball, your clearers have got to do their job. And because Ireland give them half a sniff and they're over it. Just managed to grab a word with Mike Catt as he went back to his seat. He said they were fully expected England to play like this. They knew it was coming. They knew the intensity was coming, and the bounce back. They're a little annoyed at their own discipline, ill discipline in the first half, letting England off the hook. So that's their work on for the second half. More discipline, ride the storm, and then try and get away in the last 20.
There's some words from the opposition head coaches in the tunnel. We'll touch on that in a moment. There's been a goal at Arsenal for you, Henry.
A goal for Arsenal. Declan Rice's 6th of the season. The cross from Ben White from the right-hand side. There was Rice with the downward header. Arsenal lead Brentford by a goal to 0.
Nice one, Henry. Over on Sports Extra. That game in full. Arsenal against Brentford. And talking of that Andy Farrell, Steve Borthwick showdown, if that's not a little bit over the top. Matt Dawson, you saw it on the screen.
Just as the players were, and the coaching staff were going off, something sparked up Andy Farrell and Steve Borthwick to be pointing fingers, certainly not nose to nose. They would have had to been very close to that. They're both quite flat, those noses. But it was fingers pointing, and someone has said something, and then they realised they were on camera and thought, well, we're making a bit of a meal of this, let's get in the changing room. So they both would have got in there very spiky.
Yeah.
Wow, very interesting.
Aggro on the pitch, aggro off it as Ireland make a bust through Caelan Doris. Aki, lovely rugby. Going to be a chance for Frawley on the far side. James Lowe for the corner. James Lowe scores. That's what Ireland can do. They just need one chance.
Unbelievable attack by Ireland, came out of nothing, but a little bit like England, they found that space outside this blitz defence. Wonderful hands, just simple. It was a 4-on-3, a 3-on-2 and a 2-on-1. Put James Lowe into the corner. I'm just not too sure whether he got knocked into touch. I know that the referee, I think they're going to look at it. No, maybe they're quite confident in it.
England doing themselves in on their defence. So, I mean, Henry Slade's had a bit of a stinker there. He's rushed up ahead. He's got caught. Crowley's thrown the dummy, and all of a sudden there's dog legs everywhere. And as Tommy has just described there, you do not give overlaps to this world-class backline.
Well, we know whenever England are going to blitz out of the line, and it's so difficult. We spoke earlier on as being defending as a 13. Henry Slade is meant to lead that. He came up out of the line, and I think it was Crowley dummied and got the pass in behind him, and all of a sudden, once Ireland get behind that blitz defence, they're gone. Wonderful finishing though by James Lowe, put it down in the corner, and Ireland extend their lead against the odds so far and against the run of play.
England 8, Ireland 17. Caelan Doris made the extra man. Then it was the hands from the back three. Paul Grayson, lovely stuff from the Irish as England's defence exposed.
And they knew exactly what they were going to do once they put that contestable kick up. The box kick went up. They won the contest. They weren't thinking about what to do next. They got their play pre-planned. Slade made a mess of it, got ahead of the ball. Perfect from Ireland.
Well, you wouldn't have thought Ireland would have taken 45 minutes for their first try, but they have it. and Tommy Bowe, having been under the pump, they lead 17-8. What a great place to be. If you've not been at your best, you're away at Twickenham, and you're still 17-8 up.
There was so much talk about this Irish team going into this match, and Sam Warburton said the best team in the world. The Irish pundits talking about how comfortably they're going to win this game. England have thrown the kitchen sink at them, and they should be in front. They should be a lot tighter, but this just shows the resilience of this Irish team, the confidence of them to weather that storm and to still be able to be ahead on the scoreboard. I mean, it really is completely opposite what we've seen in the opening 50 minutes of this game.
As it stands, Ireland winning the Six Nations tonight and winning it at a bit of a canter, but they'll want a Grand Slam if they can see this out. England, Matt Dawson, you feel have to respond 6 minutes into this second half. And they could because Slade is attacking and finds Tommy Freeman. What a ball and what a burst from Freeman. His ball inside couldn't quite find clubmate Furbank, and then the ball has been lost by England. But it was a lovely flat ball by Henry Slade, and Freeman got on the outside. We haven't seen too much of Freeman in space throughout his international career, always lively, working in traffic, but that was a hint of a chance down the left-hand touchline.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't be surprised if Frawley goes off for an HIA here.
Same.
He's got a bit of a bang. He's wobbled himself back into the dead ball area, and then all of a sudden, you're looking at the bench.
Well, that's where you've got to put the player first, even though it's a 6-2 bench and they're being stretched, as England could get that away. No, Lawrence couldn't quite link with Faye-Boso. Earl is the middleman, and Faye-Boso just sticks his head down. He's had a really promising first start, but still 33 minutes ago, England have numbers here. Ford, Sam Underhill had to give that. Itoje to Furbank. George Furbank for the corner. He's going to score. Oh, that's one of the best tries we've seen from England in ages, and they're right back in it now.
Tremendous realisation of where the space is, but then you've got to go through the process. You've got to be accurate, you've got to be brave. We're crying out for this for England. All the fans, all the ex-pros, the coaches, the lovers of English rugby crying out for this attitude and accuracy from England, and we have had it. There is no question whatsoever. Brilliant finish.
It's unbelievable. We talked about the physicality of the English pack and how they're getting right up in this Irish team's defence faces, but unbelievable attack this time by Sam Underhill, passing on to Maro Itoje, deft hands to give it to the English outside backs. This game has now come alive.
England 13, Ireland 17. Furbank's got another one. He scored at Murrayfield and now at Twickenham, and that is just the reply England needed to that James Lowe try. 4-point game. Let's see if Ford can nail this one. It is about 6 or 7 metres in from touch. He's got the ball about 25 metres out, and this would take a 4-point game to a 2-point game. George Ford stabbed it to the right, so he's passed up a couple of good opportunities for points, Ford. But a 4-point game, England 13, Ireland 17.
Very unlike him, George Ford. That's his second missed kick, and these are the small chances again to claw this Irish team back in. Really interesting to see Kieran Frawley. We spoke about him taking a ding on the head.
He's got to be off, Tommy.
You can see that the Irish management have gone up and spoke to him a number of times. But
I don't mind that. He has to be off. Yeah. There is an independent person somewhere in this stadium should be looking at that and seeing his reaction. You and I knew that straight away.
Yeah. Absolutely, and that independent person is obviously watching the camera. You can see Kieran Cosgrave, the Irish physio, is going up and looking at look at Frawley as well, who's just given that pass.
Gave it to Crowley.
Player welfare is most important.
Well, I think an advantage being played for the knock-on. England lost it at the restart. And that, I suppose, Paul Grayson, with your coaching hat on, when you've scored a lovely try, and Itoje was so involved in it, got to resource the kick-off, haven't you, straight after?
Yeah, it was a great kick, in fairness. It was the one we wanted right at the start of the game, wasn't it? A contestable kick put Itoje under some pressure, and he scored it. But can't take anything away from. You only have a restart if you've scored some points. England scored a brilliant try in counter-attack.
Well, we wait for the scrum to form, so let's go to Arsenal. What do you got for us, Henry?
Arsenal still leading by a goal to nil here against Brentford, going top of the Premier League as things stand. Declan Rice's goal the difference. Kai Havertz has come close as well. All Arsenal. 27 minutes gone. Arsenal 1, Brentford 0.
Thanks very much, Henry. Oh, what a title race it is shaping up. and 5 Live Premier League Sunday, 1 o'clock Villa Spurs, followed by Liverpool against City, Manchester City. 2 more title contenders along with Arsenal. That is at 3:45. Weird kick-off time, but remember that one. 3:45 Premier League Sunday. As ever on a Sunday, you will not miss a thing from the Premier League with us.
And there we saw Kieran Frawley has gone off.
Right.
HIA.
And there, this 6-2 bench is being stretched because Conor Murray has come on, so that means Gibson Park has gone to the wing, Tommy.
Yes, Gibson Park, normally Ireland's starting scrum half, now is standing behind the scrum in the wing position, just on Jack Crowley's shoulder, with Conor Murray holding the ball above that scrum. So yes, Ireland's backs and reserves are really being put into the test here.
And when it works, that 6-2 is brilliant. We saw it in Marseille when we were both doing the comms on 5 Live, and they brought the whole pack on at once and it steamrolled France. But when you get unlucky like Ireland have, with injuries to Nash and to Frawley, and we'll see if Frawley passes his HIA, you have players out of position.
It is a risk, absolute a risk for this Irish team.
Paul Grayson, your verdict as England, some of England's subs are hitting tackle bags down there.
Yeah, it's getting to that point in the game, isn't it, where you might have thought about or planned some changes, but you've got to go with what's happening in the moment. There doesn't look like any England player on the pitch, to my mind, who's run out of steam just yet. Yes, you don't want to go too far and concede, but change for change's sake could disrupt England's flow.
Grace, is there just the tiniest of thought from Steve Borthwick to replace George Ford because of his kicking doesn't look solid off the tee?
No, he's missed 2 to the right and 1 to the left, which doesn't normally mean that you're in great rhythm. Marcus Smith has just been going through some passes down here and hit a couple of bags. Gibson Park takes a good catch. It's a massive call though, that, isn't it? I think he's probably got one more shot before he gets the Shepherd's Crook.
But Steve Borthwick can't die wondering here, can he? He's got 5 Harlequins on the bench. He's got a replacement set that's locked and loaded. Ireland have already had to call for their reinforcements. He can't leave it too late as Ford takes it from Murray's kick. And they tried to pepper Gibson Park, but as you pointed out, he took a brilliant kick. But surely they're going to try and expose the fact that Ireland have a scrum half on the wing. With 28 minutes to go of this captivating game of Six Nations rugby. Already we've been royally entertained on 5 Live and BBC Sounds, with Italy beating Scotland sensationally in Rome. Ireland will win the title tonight, but they've got to wrap up business here, and it's a 4-point game. England 13, Ireland 17.
When England have been playing so much rugby, now maybe is the time for Borthwick to bring on the likes of the Northampton guys, the Dombrand Kerr, Marcus Smith, to really up the tempo of the Harlequins players, because they've been playing such good rugby in the English Premiership. Now is the time to put this Irish team to the sword and try to really up the tempo again.
Well, we've got people on their feet behind us, normally sort of the more genteel part of the Twickenham crowd, but they are living every single second of this titanic clash as England go off their feet there, Matt Dawson, hands on the ground, and give Ireland a penalty. And, both sides will need to be squeaky clean as we edge towards that hour mark where so much can start to get decided in the final 20.
Yeah, England looking to make a full front row change. As we've all been discussing, the bench for both sides looks so strong, so ready to make a difference. And Steve Borthwick sees that there is, dare I say, dominance, but there's definite parity, there's definite momentum when they want it from England, and he wants to keep it. He knows how important these next few minutes are going to be. England don't want to be chasing a game against Ireland. That is the last thing. They want ball in play, they want momentum, they want to build a lead. So I think that's a sensible, brave call.
Interesting now who takes over the England captaincy, because Ellis Genge is one of the vice captains, but he's come off with Jamie George, the captain. The other vice captains, Maro Itoje and George Ford, so one of them you would imagine will lead England.
And considering we're expecting George Ford to probably come off, you'd have to think the Maro Itoje will take that armband.
Ball is there. Conor Murray is digging for the ball. He has played in this fixture in 2014, 16, 18, 20, 22. He started the first 4. He is well used to playing and winning at Twickenham as Crowley sends a huge up and under. Faye with both as a fullback. It's a tester for the youngster. He's up. Has he taken it, or have Ireland got it? Oh, what a tactic from Ireland. Old school. But England have just about got that back, and Twickenham roars with relief more than anything. It was a horrible kick to take. but Faye Boso showed good bravery and poise, and helped out by his teammates. It is back on the England side. 55 minutes gone. England 13, Ireland 17, and England have to get out of here, Matt Dawson, 5 metres from their own line.
Yeah, not overplaying. England don't want to overplay, but they just want to position themselves to clear their lines, regroup. Defended superbly well so far in their set piece as well. Clearance from... I nearly got the phrase. I nearly got the sentence. I nearly finished it.
and then George Ford just hooked it to touch. You wanted 10 or 15 metres more there.
Definitely. George Ford's got to be looking for 30, 35 metres from his own try line now. What are Ireland going to do here?
What a result from Jack Crowley, putting that up and under up. Like we talked about, it's old school, but I just love to see a contest there. Hugo Keenan up right into the air against Boso. It was just such a great contest. England obviously got the ball back, but George Ford would be very disappointed. That kick inside England's 22 gives Ireland a brilliant attacking platform.
Ireland, they're a bright side, and they've been under extreme pressure. And yet they've come out with... I think we slightly missed it on the comms talking about something else, but a variation in their line out where they went to the front of the line out and attacked the 5 metre channel on the far side, and then all of a sudden they're doing a midfield kick right underneath England's sticks. Could have gone either way. They're moving England around. Even though Ireland are under pressure, they're still having the audacity, the confidence to move them around. Great steal.
Oh, England did steal, but it's gone straight out of play. So will that give Ireland another bite at it? And
there's not many places for Ireland to throw the ball now, because England have got 3 pods up. They're going, go on then, find someone.
Yeah, it is a real challenge for Dan Sheehan. That's exactly why England made that selection, and it must be very daunting looking down that tunnel wondering who the hell am I going to throw this to.
Well, Dan Sheehan's preparing to throw. Can England disrupt? Tyburn takes it nicely. The Ireland maul is formidable. Sheehan has scored a load of tries. This Six Nations at the bottom of that maul as Murray finds Aku, knocks on. Good pressure from the England defence. Will they look to move it? Lawrence dummies. They had numbers there, England. You felt Lawrence should have given that. Will England still look to run it? No, Ford will kick sensibly, and he kicks it miles downfield. That's much better a connection from George Ford. Keenan in the backfield as we go to Brighton. Hamish Marshall, you got a goal.
It's Brighton 0, Manchester United 3 in stoppage time. Lucia Garcia's tapped in after Melvin Mallar's shot came off the post. Millie Turner with a header, and Nikita Paris put United in early control. The half-time whistle goes with last year's beaten finalists heading for the last 4. Brighton 0, Manchester United 3.
Thanks very much, Hamish Marshall at Broadfield Stadium in the Women's FA Cup quarter-final. Let's go down to Paul Grayson. What do you got for us, Grace? Any news on the England captain?
England captain currently George Ford, so that little bit of speculation about Marcus Smith potentially coming on might not happen for a minute or two. Interestingly, Kieran Frawley back on the bench and just putting a subs coat on. I'm going to assume that the HIA hasn't gone his way and Ireland will stay as they are for now.
England get up there and disrupt the line out. Sam Underhill to Ben Earl. And Ben Earl's off on a run, and he's over halfway, and he's over the 10-metre line. What a carry from Ben Earl. Can England get behind Ireland, who pour off their feet? Penalty, and there might be a yellow card coming here. Nika Amishakeli's going to the bin. Was it cynical enough? If so, Ireland might be going down to 14.
You would never call Peter O'Mahony cynical, would you? But what a break by Ben Earl. Ireland completely on the back foot. Peter O'Mahony tried to slow down the ball. I would say this could be a yellow card for Ireland. Ireland 4 points ahead of England. This is really going to tighten it up.
It's a line break. You dived over the rock and you got a ball. That's a cynical.
Oh, he's gone for it. Nika Amishakeli sends Peter O'Mahony, the Ireland captain, to the sin bin. What a 22 minutes we have in store. Back to Arsenal Brentford. Henry.
Arsenal leading by a goal to nil. Kai Havertz breaking forward, almost getting a chance for an Arsenal second, just offside. Arsenal dominating. They're leading here by a goal to nil against Brentford.
Thanks very much, Henry. Radio 5 Sports Extra for that commentary of Arsenal against Brentford. And at the conclusion of this game here at Twickenham, we will pick up the second half of Arsenal-Brentford. So as always, we're bouncing from one huge sporting event to the next. There's England go for the corner, and Marcus Smith comes on. But I wonder if he's going to come on at fullback. No, he's coming on for George Ford, it looks like. Paul Grayson, talk us through it from the touchline.
He'd been agitating for that move. He's warmed up maybe 15 minutes ago, Smith. Ford off key with his kicking off the deck. Natural move to make. Brave call. England go for the corner now, but that's a big one. Ford off, Smith on.
England take it. They're within 4, and they're within 4 metres as well, as the Twickenham crowd urges them to heave. Theo Dan is at the back. This England ball looks nicely set, Matt Dawson. They're driving up to the line. Ben Earl, advantage. England have Ireland on the run here, but they still trail by 4. Mitchell digs for it. Can they execute? Baywa Boso's off his wing, looking for work like he's done all afternoon. There for England, Will Stewart leaves it for Mitchell. Mitchell to George Martin, the big lock. What a carry, George Martin. He couldn't have been much closer. Can England resource it? They still have penalty advantage. They could walk it in. Smith. Oh, good rush defence, Ireland. Keenan makes a great read. It's breaking up as George Furbank, the second try scorer, dances in centre field. Mitchell to Joe Marler. Marler throws a dummy and sets it up. Listen to Twickenham, the old place, in great voice. Martin carrying again on the angle. Mitchell dummies to the right, goes to the left. He's almost in, Alex Mitchell. So lively on the fringes. They have numbers here, England. They can walk it in if they just show some composure. Can they get it back? Ireland releases the call from referee Amisha Kelly. If it's held up, it'll be a goal line dropout. Mitchell to the right. Ben Earl up to the line. Ben Earl scores! And listen to Twickenham as England go into the lead on the hour mark.
Just patience from England. And even though it was, you could see they were so close. You could see that the anticipation that they should be scoring, they are going to score, but they maintained their patience and they gave it to their key runners in Jessam, in Martin. Theo Dan popping up at scrum half after a lovely little break and dummy from Alex Mitchell. And then this lovely sweeping late run from Marcus Smith caught Ireland's attention, but no, it was Ben Earl who taught the little short ball, step off the left, step off the right. Lovely reach.
I can feel the stadium is bouncing. This whole England team is feeling the wave of enthusiasm coming from this support. Wonderful attack play by England and a brave call by Borthwick. It's just what they needed to bring Marcus Smith on to up the tempo. Ireland down to 14 men and now 3 points behind England. You can see Ireland, Andy Farrell has emptied the bench. A lot of big boys coming on for this Irish team now. They're going to have a big impact in the closing 20 minutes.
Do not go anywhere. 20 minutes to go. England 20, Ireland 17. England was 17-8 down after that low try and staring down the barrel. 2 tries from Furbank and Earl. Peter O'Mahony's in the sin bin for another 7 minutes. And Paul Grayson on the touchline. England have to keep playing here, don't they?
Yes, they do. There's no let-up in their intensity and their ambition. It's what got them into this position. The excellence of their output when they've got ball in hand. Stick to the plan. And get out of here clean. Stick to the plan because it's working.
And Swing Low Sweet Chariot being sung with gusto by the Twickenham crowd. As nightfall descends on southwest London, Mitchell's kick up to the halfway line. England 20, Ireland 17, 18 frenetic minutes to go, Matt Dawson.
And what type of kick was it, Chris? Get it into touch. Don't care. Don't give me the box kick. Get it into touch. Because England fancy their chances. They're saying to Ireland are the team in a huddle. They're the ones with loads of calls coming in. Do this, do that, do the other. And England are just sat there or stood there in the line out saying, yeah, we got all bases covered here. Wherever you throw it, we are going to challenge you.
You have to remember as well, Conor Murray has now come off the bench. He's playing scrum half. Gibson Park, who is the starting scrum half, is on the wing. Ireland looking a little bit dishevelled. A lot of people scratching their head, wondering what the call is. Not the composed team we've seen in the last couple of weeks.
They got a penalty though, Tommy, as England pulled down the arm in the air. Both teams have to keep their discipline. We're at that point, aren't we, where every little decision both from the referee and the players, could be so significant.
And a difficult 7 minutes still ahead for the Irish captain Peter O'Mahony, who of course gave away that yellow card, seeing his team going down to 14 men, knowing they're already under the pump. He needs his boys to pull him out of a hole here.
Yeah, Maro Itoje will not be best pleased with himself, pulling the inside arm of the opposition when you've been all over the line out. Just needed to let Ireland come down and slow it in a way that Maro is so good at. England have got to be squeaky clean. This is what they've spoken to us all about, being in the big games, being ahead, being disciplined.
Good drill, Ireland, though. Kelleher's on for Sheehan and he found Henderson. Ireland's version of the bomb squad going to work. 20 points to 17, England lead as they look to spoil this Ireland line out and maul. Gibson Park, who is on the wing, has gone into play at scrum half because Murray's on the floor, so they've kind of got 2 9s at the moment. They're both in each other's space. Gibson Park is kind of feel he wants to get in there and play 9. Now he's rucking as Ireland drive up again past the 22. What do Ireland have? Their back line has been affected by injuries. They've brought on loads of forwards now. Murray out to Crowley. Crowley inside, then knocked on by Robbie Henshaw. And Tommy Freeman has it. And we've said that word a few times, Tommy Poe. Pressure, pressure, pressure. Even the very best can feel it.
Yeah, the pressure, the line speed that England are putting on, the physicality that they're putting on this Irish side. They're feeling the pressure. They're making mistakes. Those small inside passes which normally go to hand, and Ireland go through that gap in the weeks gone by, just don't seem to be opening up like they have done. So the pressure on now. Can they be comfortable in chaos? Which is a huge question that Andy Farrell asks of his men.
Ireland have it on the 10-metre line as England look to slow it up. There's Ronan Kelleher, who's on for Dan Sheehan at hooker. 30th cap for Kelleher. Jack Conan, he's a good player to bring off the bench, all that experience. Leinster and Ireland, 45 caps, and a British and Irish line starting Test 8 to boot as well. Conor Murray to the left, inside it comes, back to Murray. Didn't quite go to Kelleher. Murray shakes off a few English defenders, but it's quite slow for Ireland. 40 metres out for Finlay. Beelan, the replacement tight header. Itoje comes in and plays the 9, but the referee was happy. Good spoiling Maro Itoje. Henshaw now's behind the halfway line. Great tackle coming in on him by Ollie Lawrence, and Jamison Gibson Park almost got away. Then he dropped it. Well, the referee didn't see it, or did he? Yeah, he's got the call from one of his assistants, and England, Matt Dawson, will have a scrum round about the 10-metre line. 15 minutes to go.
I mean, this has been a tremendous test match, and is going to continue to be for the next 15 minutes if these players can get on their feet and somehow muster the energy, because they are shot to pieces. They have given absolutely everything to this game. Whoever can hang on is going to win this game. Ireland getting themselves in a huddle, and they don't need to, there's no wingers running in from 50 yards to get in this huddle, because we put a blanket over all of them. They are shattered, and England are never going to get a better opportunity, Tommy.
Let's go down to Paul Grayson on the touchline. Grace.
Elliot Daly just putting his shoulder through the tackle bag held by Kevin Sinfield. Sinfield's been in Alex Dombrandt's ear for a couple of minutes, and Danny Kerr looks like he's not a million miles away from making his 100th test appearance. So England emptying the bench. Dombrandt and Daly right now, and now Kerr's got the nod. Here he comes.
Yeah, here they come. Daly on, Slade coming off, Dombrandt on. We'll wait to see who comes off in the back row. And Danny Kerr is preparing to win his 100th cap and become just the 6th Englishman in history to do that. He will obviously come on at 9 for Alex Mitchell. Listen to the reception one of English rugby's most popular players will get. Can he cap a special day with a special victory? Here's the noise for Danny Kerr. As Henry Slade comes off, I think that means Daly to the midfield and Chesham off, so Alex Dombrandt to 8, Ben Earl to 6 or 7 is probably the call. As we wait for the scrum, let's go to Jenny Gow. an update from the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Jenny.
Yes, 5 laps to go, and at the moment Red Bull dominance again with Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez 1-2. But the battle is on for 6th place. That doesn't sound like much, but Russell's there at the moment, leading the bricks with Behrman in 7th. He's an 18-year-old rookie for Ferrari. Norris in 8th and Hamilton in 9th. They're all hunting them down.
Thanks, Jenny. Commentary of the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix on the BBC Sport website. Arsenal-Brentford is over on 5 Sports Extra, but we'll be with that game at the conclusion of this at Twickenham, which has 14 minutes left to run, and it is on a knife edge. England 20, Ireland 17. Victory gives Ireland the Six Nations title, but victory for England wrecks the Irish Grand Slam dream. They will not make history and go back-to-back, as Carefeed's clubmate Smith, who finds Daly, who's hit hard by Aki as he hacked it forward, and Gibson Park has it. And the replacements there not quite able to get the ball downfield. They might get outside England here. They've only got 14, remember. Peter O'Mahony in the sin bin as Ireland try and get away down the left touchline. 20 points to 17 to England with 13 minutes to go. 5 Live and BBC Sounds live at Twickenham, your home of the Six Nations. Robbie Henshaw gets the offload away to Caelan Doris. Doris sets it up, centre field, 10-metre line, English territory. Ian Henderson, the Ulsterman, stoops forward to take it like he's in the slips. Penalty to England.
It was coming. It was coming because Ben Earls had 3 jackal attempts where Josh van der Flair was getting them in the first half, and Ben Earl, the crowd could see it. They were booing the referee for not giving it. Third time lucky for Ben Earl, deserved it.
These are the moments when you need your big players to step up. Ben Earl really establishing himself as a key player in this squad. You can see the celebration, see what it means to him, because that's a very, very important turnover with 13 minutes to go.
Really is. Tommy Bowe, Grand Slam winner 2009. 2 more Grand Slam winners in commentary. Matt Dawson and Paul Grayson on the touchline as we wait for the line. Let's go back to Arsenal, Henry.
Deep in first half stoppage time, Arsenal 1, Brentford 0. Declan Rice's header the difference, but oh, it's a goal, an equaliser. Visser sliding in on Ramsdale, and from nowhere, Brentford back in the game in added time of the first half. Arsenal 1, Brentford 1.
Oh, great timing, Henry. The title race takes another twist and turn. There'll be loads of those tomorrow as Liverpool play Manchester City at 3:45. Of course, it's live on 5 Live Premier League Sunday. Arsenal-Brentford over on Sports Extra as Danny Kerr box kicks way too far. Meat and drink for Gibson Park. Not the worst tactic to test out Gibson Park, but badly executed. And Ireland would have the free kick, but deep inside their own 22. Matt Dawson.
I know it's a 3-point lead. I get it. But Ireland are rattled. If England go through the phases here, England are going to create more of an opportunity than go into the sky. You cannot be giving free ball to Ireland with this amount of time left and with only 3 points.
It looked like he was caught indecision whether to go too high or put it a bit further. It was so easy for Gibson Park to clear his lines, and interesting to see. I think that Peter O'Mahony's yellow card is up and Ryan Baird has come on to replace him.
England 20, Ireland 17, and as Tommy Bowe was explaining there, Peter O'Mahony, the Ireland captain, not to return after his sin bin, but Ryan Baird on, so plenty of power and dynamism being unloaded by Andy Farrell with Henderson, Baird, Conan all on. Cunningham South, he's got power and dynamism, and he wins the line-out ball for England. And now, Matt Dawson, is it about England not going into their shell and trying to clock watch? Still loads of rugby to play with 10 minutes to go. Yeah. 2017 to England.
Absolutely right. Make Ireland go for it. Make Ireland step over the mark and give a penalty away. Go through the phases. Otherwise, you're just going to continue to create these slow rucks.
Trying to test out Gibson Park with the box kick, but he took it well under pressure from Tommy Freeman. We are into the final 10 minutes at Twickenham as Jack Conan is hacked down by George Martin, who is, this guy is made for Test rugby, isn't he? Looks the part, socks round his ankles, buzz cut, kind of guy you wouldn't want to be tackled by, as Ireland send up a slightly dodgy kick, but it is back on the Irish side.
Can't see why Ireland are not playing.
Yeah, and Conor Murray, why is he slowing the ball down? I mean, I can understand trying to get it into their half, but you got to make it that's two disappointing kicks from Conor Murray, a man with so much experience. Ireland really need to up the tempo to get themselves back into this game.
Oh, England again caught in possession here.
Maybe it's going to work in his favour.
Holding on against England. Penalty Ireland. Paul Grayson on halfway, as you see both sides kind of go into their shells, play cagey rugby, because we're into the final 10 minutes.
Limp into the last 10 minutes.
I mean, they have emptied the tanks, Grace.
Hey, listen, Kerr and Murray haven't emptied the tanks. They've only been on a few minutes between them. There's no excuse for a poor box kick straight off the bench from Danny Kerr. Murray's got away with it there. Furbank chopped to the ground, and then Ireland in over the top competing. Dangerous territory around the middle of the field, but I feel like the halfbacks are going to have a material effect on who wins this game.
Half time for you, Henry, at Arsenal.
Half-time, Arsenal 1, Brentford 1. Declan Rice's header cancelled out in added time by Jørn Visser, charging down Aaron Ramsdale's clearance. At the break, Arsenal 1, Brentford 1.
Nice one, Henry. We're with commentary of that in the second half after the conclusion at Twickenham. England 20, Ireland 17. Arsenal Brentford on Sports Extra now, 1-5 live in a bit. But all about the final 8 minutes as Ireland through Kelleher drive on at the line up, 3 points in it. Every score from now on will be decisive as Aki finds Henshaw, who runs into the guts of the English defence. They've not rolled away England. Ireland can go level at least here with that penalty, but they want to try to maybe break the English spirit. Out the back it goes, 2-on-1, Gibson Park. Oh, what a ball. Lowe against Smith, only one winner, and that is James Lowe, who's got his second try in the same corner, and is that the score? That means Ireland will be crowned Six Nations champions tonight.
Wonderful try by James Lowe. Excellent offload by Bundee Aki. Took the ball to the line, offloaded to Robbie Henshaw. The two of them bundled over. Ben Earl tried to get in and poach the ball, couldn't get away. Gave Ireland the penalty, gave them the opportunity to try and get out wide, and it was a brilliant round the back pass by Ian Henderson to Crowley, who Gibson Park under so much pressure on the touchline. Pass it out to James Lowe and he crashes over the line. Ireland getting themselves back in front by 2 points. I mean, you have to feel for England so far, but it just shows you got to be clinical against this team.
You've got to be clinical, you've got to make good decisions, and that's on the field and that's off the field. And that was early to be making those sorts of replays. I think Grace mentioned it a bit earlier that all the England backline looked in sync. Didn't look tired, and he's taken 9, 10, 13 out of the team, and all of those players coming on have not added to this.
Crowley to extend the lead, big kick, he's pushed it across the face. Right, 2-point ball game, 73.5 minutes gone, England 20, Ireland 22. What a thriller at Twickenham. Paul Grayson, your view of that low try?
Yeah, Gibson Park playing on the right wing, but what a player to have in that moment, just to make that absolutely in and out pass. Sensational. A winger might not have been able to get it away, so scrum half out of position, but the perfect man for that job.
But England are a penalty, a drop goal away from going back into the lead. Will they get another chance? England 20, Ireland 22, an Irish win, and they're Six Nations champions, and they will play next week for the Grand Slam at home to Scotland, who lost today against Italy. What a day of the Six Nations it's been. A mixed bag of a tournament has really come to life, as Elliot Daly has it from Kerr's pass. How do England play this now? Do they look for territory? Kerr to the right, Theo Dan, he'll put some pace on the ball, the young Saracens hooker. Penalty, England, as Ireland don't roll. Right, Elliot Daly is on the field, and Paul Grayson on the touchline. You've kicked many points on this turf, you've got the coordinates, the wind and everything. Will Daly take this on, do you think?
Bang on 50 metres, isn't it? You might be 50 and a half with the slight angle. Daly definitely, it's cold, but he will fancy it. He's got this normally by 7 or 8 metres for distance. Perfect guy to have on the field. Just going back to Dawson's point about the replacements, of all the three, Slade had dropped off a couple of tackles and was starting to look a bit leggy, so the Daly one makes sense. The other two, aside from Ford's goal kicking, I thought Mitchell was being absolutely superb today, and George Ford, aside from his goal kicking, has had an excellent game in possession. So 100% with Matt on those two. Daly, a good change, and now he gets an opportunity to show that rocket boot.
Well, Daly's done it for club country and for the Lions. He kicked an absolute missile in the third test in Auckland in 2017 for the Lions. Here he goes from 52 metres on the angle. Has he got the distance? I think it's just going to end up to the right. It had the legs. Oh, that was close, but it stays out. England 20, Ireland 22. A dropout for Ireland. Jenny, you've got a result from the Grand Prix.
Yes, it's Max Verstappen taking the win ahead of Sergio Perez, his Red Bull teammate, definitely doing the talking on track. And just an update, Oliver Bearman in his first race in a F1 for Ferrari finished 7th. Well done to the young Brit.
4 minutes to go here. England 20, Ireland 22. England a few metres away from going back into the lead, but they will have another chance here. Taken by Marcus Smith, he says to teammate for Harlequins, Chandler Cunningham-South running up, and he does that. Now Kerr out to Itoje, Smith, Daly, he sends a wide pass. England have to not panic here. Freeman on the left touchline, he's caught by 3 Irish players who will try and make that a maul, but it's a tackle, says the referee. So there for Danny Kerr, 40 metres out England, but hugging the left touchline. Itoje to Theo Dan. Out to Marcus Smith from Kerr. Now here's Alex Dombrandt. They're in penalty range, not quite drop goal range. Smith on the gain line. He pops a no-look. It's a Cunningham-South. He gets the offload away to Marcus Smith, who's up to the 22. Brilliant linking. The Harlequins in sync. Now's another Harlequins. Kerr, he tried to send a kick through. It ricocheted, and it's back in Irish possession. Oh, what a breakout.
Well done to England. Unbelievable offload there by Chandler to Smith. Wonderful break. I wonder if Danny Kerr will root that chance. Was that right, really, the call to try and slide it through? Yes, there was definitely space there, but Ireland were on the back foot, really trying to get a hold of this English team. Ireland clear their lines for the minute.
It doesn't stop. 2.5 minutes to go and 2 points in it. Benno, what a player he's become in the test arena. 40 metres out. Marcus Smith out to Dombrandt. Tommy Freeman up against Gibson Park. He gets it inside, and then does it come back on the English side? Not quite. Ireland line out as England almost exposed Gibson Park down the left touchline. Ireland will have the throw in, and we are into the final 2 minutes. England 20, Ireland 22. Matt Dawson.
I was just thinking of that break from Marcus Smith. It's just so counterintuitive to come off the brakes when you're Marcus Smith, but he was so isolated. He made a lovely break. He just felt he needed just to slow down and look for his support rather than run away from his support. What a break. That's what Marcus Smith can bring, that moment of brilliance, but he can't do it all on his own. He needs the players around him not to watch him, to get on his shoulder and finish that moment off, because you're not going to get many of them against Ireland with a 2-point lead and 2 minutes to go.
It was unbelievable by Cunningham-South as well. The offload, you can tell that the two guys play in Harlequins together, because Smith was right on his shoulder, knew exactly where the ball was going to go. The problem was it looked like the rest of the English side didn't see that Smith was right there and going through. England again another opportunity to try and put this Irish team under pressure.
Yeah, this is a big loss, because Cunningham-South's going on. I mean, the buggy with the stretcher is making its way over, but he's managed to get onto the touchline. That's a big loss. He's made a massive impact. Great carry. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
What do they do here, even with replacements?
Well, they can't bring a replaced player back on, can they? So they're going to have to play with 14, are they, England? England 20, Ireland 22, 2 minutes to go. Can England put pressure on Ronan Kelleher? As referee Amisha Kelly says, the clock is back on. Every second now will feel a lifetime for both these sets of players. Tommy Bro rubs his hands as England get up, but Ian Henderson wins it. What an important line-out take from Henderson. And do Ireland now have the composure to see this game out?
This is where the likes of the Johnny Sextons of old take such control of this. So huge pressure on the likes of Conor Murray, who's box kicked it into touch around the halfway line. Jack Crowley, Gibson Park. Can they steer this Ireland team to victory?
Paul Grayson on the touchline, line out right in front of you. England are going to get one more chance here.
Yeah, they are. And will they? that Danny Care kick away of possession when they've made the break. Are they going to live to regret that? What they will be able to get is quick ball, because Ireland can't afford to gamble at the breakdown. England have got, we've seen that up to the halfway line, Daly has the distance. All they need is a penalty kick or to get into drop goal range, so they will be able to get quick ball, and that's what they've thrived off in the best periods of this game. Big carriers stepping up, getting on the front foot, moving the ball through their hands. So as much as it's a minute and 5 seconds to go, it doesn't have to be done in that time, but they will have the opportunity to play, that's for sure.
I find this amazing. If you were at a break here, there are like 2 or 3 groups of England players about getting together, get a huddle in. This is what we're going to do. This is our plan. Forwards know what the backs are doing. Backs know what the forwards are doing. Go through a couple of phases. Let Marcus Smith orchestrate it like the general he should be.
Here they go, 1 minute to go.
What have England got as Theo Dan prepares to throw into the line-out? We are into the final minute of this thriller at Twickenham. England 20, Ireland 22. They've got to win line-out ball. England they do. Itoje off the top. Kerr, Marcus Smith in centre field. Dombrandt, Daly's round the back. Elliot Daly to Tommy Freeman. England make 5 or 6 metres as Freeman powers on. But have they held Freeman up? No, it's there for Kerr. To the right, Smith. He's got Feiwa Boso down the right touchline. He's almost up to the 5-metre line. What a burst from the rookie. England to within 5. They've got advantage. It's right in the corner, but they'll have a chance. And they've got numbers to the left. Kerr out to Stewart. 4 metres out, England. A try breaks Irish hearts. Earl helped out by Lawrence to within 4. Kerr, he doesn't want to give it to his forwards, or does he? Theo Dan, 5 metres out under the crossbar. Alex Dombrandt's up to the line. England can walk it into the left. Here goes Furbank. He's a bit isolated. He's too isolated. But England are only a metre out or so. 2 points in it. The clock is dead. Another advantage. England will 100% get a chance. Smith can drop goal for glory. Marcus Smith, he pops it over. And England have beaten Ireland. And Twickenham erupts. One of the biggest wins at Twickenham for England in years. A statement victory for the Steve Borthwick regime. Marcus Smith's drop goal. England fans are hugging all around us. England win by a point. And Ireland's Grand Slam dream dies at Twickenham. What a game. What a finish! What a result for English rugby! England 23, Ireland 22.
We have not seen England play like this for years. Maybe even going back to 2019, that semi-final against New Zealand. From the off, there was intent, there was commitment, there was accuracy. It was a scintillating performance from England, a brilliant comeback from Ireland, but overall, you have to say, overall, it would be very, very difficult for anyone to argue that England deserved to win this game today. I know it went down to the wire, but England absolutely deserved to win this. 1-23. They had their wobbles, but 1-23, they were better than Ireland's 1-23 for sure.
Ireland went into this game as massive, massive favourites. All the pundits gave this England side all the ammunition that they needed, and fair play to England. They 100% delivered here. And have you guys ever experienced the atmosphere in this place? Literally just exploded there. A massive win for England, a massive win for Steve Borthwick, who's been under so much pressure.
What a win for England. That's why we love sport. It's not played on paper, it's not played in the pre-match. Paul Grayson, describe the scenes around you. I've not seen Twickenham like this in a while.
Absolute jubilation. Twickenham's had a bit of a scene too from various people in the media saying that it's turned into England's biggest pub, and actually not too wide of the mark, because people go for a drink when they're bored out of their minds. When England team play like that, this is the best stadium on earth to be in. Unbelievable scenes down here. The noise is absolutely incredible, but it's off the back of a breakout performance from an England team who've played a game that is, they've won that entirely on their merit. Yes, they nearly wobbled at the end and chucked it away, but guys like Chesham and Martin and Mitchell and Furbank and Faye Waboso stepped up and delivered under the greatest pressure. So a superb performance by them, and this is what England rugby should be about.
Back underway on Sports Extra. Arsenal 1, Brentford 1. We'll be there shortly, but we need to just take a breath. Tommy Bowe, magnanimous in defeat. You before the game were ever so slightly concerned about the confidence, but we said England had to come through something different. Ireland put them under pressure, and they did that. And even the very best, this doesn't change that Ireland are a very good side. When you're put under pressure, you can be got at.
It's such a difficult place to come. Ireland, massive favourites coming into this game, but they knew the danger that this English team posed. With the tack they were able to pick, the line speed that they've been talking about, all they needed was for those tackles to stick, for those mistakes to come from the Irish side. And Ireland never really got out of the blocks. Yes, they got themselves back into the game. Yes, they were ahead at certain stages, but we never got to see the vintage Ireland, the Ireland that would have been so impressive over the last couple of weeks and months. A big day for England, and listen, fair play to them, they deserve it. It was a huge performance.
Yeah, I mean, a step up, of course, it had to be, but England put themselves, and will from now on, because of this win, will put themselves, and their fans will put them, and then we will all put them up there with the top echelon of international rugby, because of that style of performance and because of the individuals. And Grace went through, reiterate, Furbank, Faye Waboso, Ford, Mitchell, particularly, Martin, Chesham, Earl. Quality performances that in weeks and months gone by have been mostly individual performances. These were great performances in amongst a brilliant team performance, and this is what you get.
Well, Ireland are still very, very, very much odds on to win the Six Nations title next week. They've got 16 points. England are up to 12. Scotland with 11. If Ireland get nothing from Scotland next week and England win in France, who knows what can happen. It's still in Ireland's hands, but they will not go back to back with the Grand Slam. They will not do what France did in the 90s. It's so hard to win a Grand Slam. It should be nigh on impossible to go back to back. And Ireland have been beaten here. Their long winning run in the Six Nations at an end. But England in a huddle. It is their day. What a win for England. A breakthrough victory for this group of players in this new era. A huge victory for Steve Borthwick and his coaches. And a huge victory for the whole of English rugby, really, which has been under the pump the last few years. England 23, Ireland 22. What a game it's been at Twickenham. And what a game it's going to shape up in the second half, it feels, at the Emirates. Arsenal Brentford. Commentary now with Michael Brown and Conor McNamara. Conor.